Boom, boom, boom. Stay locked, because we're the bomb.
Talking a lot of things we're going to be talking about today. I would say that they're more of updates. Yes, there are a lot more updates on a lot of things that we had started the week about. It might seem interesting to some people, but it is what it is. And then especially if particular news keep getting bigger and keep getting more updates, we're going to be talking about it. There's more news about the certificate issues. It's huger now. There are more conversations around it, and I think that is something we definitely need to talk about. Also about the NSIPA, there's news coming from that. There's also news coming from the former minister of the one that EFCC was going to arrest. The humanitarian affairs, yes, that one also. So we're going to definitely going to be talking about if a couple of things, and a lot more. AFCC is in the news for a lot of things. There's also updates. We have talked about the Nigeria Railway Corporation and the racketeering that has been going on there, with the updates on that as well that we're going to talk about. So sit back, relax, and let's get right into today's show. As we're going to be talking, where it's just, definitely going to be diving right into it quickly as our time, because we kind of have like pretty much a whole of things to touch. Now we're starting that with yesterday there was news that the federal government had suspended degree certification from Togo and Benin Republic. Now the news that got in today, and this was an interview with the Minister of Education, is that they're suspending degree certificates from also Uganda, Kenya, and schools in Niger Republic. So it's a wider net now, which we will say, is it good, is it bad? I think that's one conversation. Do you actually think that it should be a blanket ban? Because now, let me give you this typical example. According to the NANS president, that's the Nigerian Association, the National Association of Nigerian Students in Benin Republic, is saying that this federal government's ban is affecting about 15,000 Nigerian students in Benin Republic alone.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were adding something else, whatever the president has said. So the president of the Nigerian students in Benin Republic has come up with staggering figures and statistics. He should know. He should have that kind of information.
Yeah.
Being the president of the Association of Nigerian Students in Benin Republic. So I also do not support or advocate for a blanket ban. It will be unfair for people who have, gone to proper schools or who are going to proper schools, paying their fees and going through the old rigors, to just lose out because of some other people who are doing something wrong. So there's a way for government to go about it. And the Nigerian Universities Commission have their work cut out for them. Even if these are not Nigerian universities, they have their own verification system in place, which they can avail the Ministry of Education of, and they can help them set those guidelines and stringent modalities that would see the standard schools coming through, so that students will even know going forward. Again, at times it has to take some kind of a wake-up call. So kudos must go to the reporter from the Daily Nigerian.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that, because the truth is that we a lot of times say, okay, the media is not doing enough, the media is not doing this, the media is not doing that. But I think that the reporter and his media house is a fantastic job to be able to bring out these ills. The truth is that even the NUC and everybody, they might have had like suspicions of some of these things, But the fact that there's concrete evidence around this thing, I think that the person definitely went through the rigors, went through, of course, a lot of money was spent, a lot of time went into this. And I think that kudos to that person. He's done a fantastic job. Also, I don't know if I'll call this a praise or a knock. On the side of the federal government, I think that the fact that we're seeing a very I won't call it a proactive, but I'll say a quick response to this, I think that is a good thing. But it's interesting how, okay, so other than what the federal government has done, there's a list that the NUC had also put out, identified 58 illegal universities in Nigeria. And my question to that is that, so if this person or if the media house did not take it upon themselves to actually properly investigate this thing, so we're just going to be going through the ropes?
Exactly.
Like,
again. Oops. That's a mess. That's massive. Sorry. Okay, so you were still saying something before.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. It actually calls also to the incompetence of this government agencies. Because if you're doing your job properly, yeah, there's some things that should not pass by you, and not even this much. See, different, you can say that whatever happens in another country, you don't know about, yeah? Makes sense. But how do you have 58 illegal universities running in your own country? I think that it calls to your incompetence more than anything. That's one side to it. Another side to it is what I feel a lot of people are not talking about. So this particular reporter recently did his NYC, I think 2019, when he went to a Nigerian university and he finished. After getting a certificate in 6 weeks from this school in Benin Republic, he applied for NYSC again, and he got in again. I know that the NAN's president in Benin Republic, I saw his interview, the guy was going off that he feels that this person has committed a lot of crimes and he needs to be arrested. That's talking about the reporter here, which I don't get what he's trying to say. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm saying that other than the fact that the NUC is one part, how is it that the NYSC is allowing people, what's it called? Because last I checked, it was a crime to actually serve twice. Because everybody is going on about the 6 weeks that happened in Benin Republic.
I think
there's a whole issue with our NYSC system. This is the one that even affects us personally.
To be honest with you, never even looked at that NYSC angle twice until you just raised it for me now. I never bothered to look. I was just so focused on, the fact that people could get a degree in 6 weeks.
Because it's okay, yeah, because we'll say that one is not, we can walk out and say it's not Nigeria's, it's Benin Republic's issue, and they have to sort out their issues, Abi. Mm-hmm. Yes, I get it. We can even excuse the fact that maybe he had never gone to NYSC before and he brought a certificate, which Nigeria, I'm not sure it was it was in Nigeria's place. You can excuse the fact that it was not in Nigeria's place to verify which they actually verify your own. I went to Nigeria, they verify your credentials, which they should, yeah. But how come is it that it was okay for him to serve twice?
So, first things first, I like to address the culture. You can't arrest him because it was basically pointing out
the ills in the society.
He was doing his job by going undercover. Lots. And if he didn't go through this whole thing, we won't find out what we just found out now. Yes,
I agree.
And it shows that there are loopholes in the National Youth Service Corps scheme that would allow someone register twice. It's obvious that there are loopholes, which also means that they are still using manual data, manual storage and everything, which will make it hard for them to process, do you get here? Because if, for instance, there was a biometric system in place for registration of people who in recent times are going for the NYSC, he won't be able to scale through.
Yeah.
Maybe people who had gone many years ago that were not captured with the
Yeah,
new
because last
technology.
I checked, NYC is you do biometrics and all that. So I'm like, so what exactly are we doing?
So it also shows that at times when government people, bring this system of registration, they actually don't
It's really not
back up,
Yeah,
and they don't use it.
Is it really
just,
about?
It's looking like it's just a charade.
Yeah,
They put you through the registration,
and they stress you.
but they just throw it somewhere. Because if they have like a server or a database somewhere, the instant there's a match on the guy's biometrics,
Name and there's biometrics.
it will be flagged.
It pops up.
It'll be flagged.
So
even if he goes through the registration, a few weeks or days after, it will be stopped and said,
exactly,
you are invited to the office for a meeting.
Exactly my point.
You know,
Because
but they didn't do
I'm
that.
guessing that this whole NYSC thing, I sat down this afternoon, I was talking about, and it just clicked in my head like, wait. Nobody is having this conversation, and this is time to actually call out the NYSC. What exactly are you people doing? What are you people doing? Let's call
It's
it
a big
spade a
problem,
spade.
actually.
It's sad enough that the NUC, they feel it is okay, to put out a list of 58 illegal universities. How is our system so porous that it allowed 58 universities to thrive?
So
How?
So again, if you look at the entire Nigeria, we're still trying to make things work and make things better in this country. So it's an all hands on deck situation. But some people have applied for jobs and they have gotten them. They have been selected or elected into positions, but they are not doing their
They're
jobs.
not doing their job.
It's someone's job to ensure that these 58 universities do not exist in the first place. It's not like opening a barber shop. In Nigeria, it's not regulated. I know that in America, you need a license and all of that to become a barber. But in Nigeria, it is not regulated.
It's not.
Anybody can open a barber shop. What is the correlation between a barber shop and a university? Yes, that's why I'm trying to point out that you're
Yeah,
opening a
totally.
university
Is
like
that
someone who's
silly?
opening a barber shop.
Yeah.
Because that particular
Anybody can just
business
open a
is
building.
Not
and
regulated.
It's and
You know?
worst part, they probably put it in some remote place, so you don't even get to it.
So that speaks to the inability of the government agencies in charge of this kind of situations to do their jobs
To
properly.
buckle up.
It shows that they're not doing their job
Also,
properly.
before
But-
we leave,
But I want to appeal to people too. You need to act as whistleblowers also. And government must create a whistleblowing platform. It's not only for
See,
those things, but it
funny
should be
enough,
for general
not
things.
just even whistleblowing in itself, for the sake of, because I've come to realize that some of these illegal schools and don't even come cheap. For saving your money, because the truth is that even if you don't, how do I say it now? Even if you go through the rigors of going to these schools, and it's not a 6-week thing, it's a 4-year or 5-year or 6-year thing, and you do all that, the truth is that you won't be able to serve. So why put yourself through so much stress when you can as well just do due diligence? Before we even get to the whistleblowing issue, let's get to a point where whatever school, I think, calls on parents, on even students themselves. Like I said yesterday, there is a booklet. I don't know why. I'm not sure a lot of people get around to reading those things. There is a booklet. You find the course you want.
Let me ask
Go
you.
to the schools.
Let me push back a bit, at least so that we can,
Yeah.
look at things. You went to the University of Ibadan.
Yeah.
Did you go and do any research on the school to check the authenticity and the verification?
I read the JAM booklet.
Did you do research? You wanted to find out if they were certified or not?
I went to university, no, because everybody knows University of Ibadan. It's there, like right in your face.
That's the exact answer I was expecting, and that's the exact answer I got. You didn't have to, because it was UI, University of Ibadan.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's the same way a lot of people do not have to. It's the same way.
Okay.
Why is it like that? There are 4 or 5 people in your neighborhood who have signed up and started attending this private university. and you know that there are several private universities, it's not going to be something you want to verify.
But a school that is not a popular one.
No, you see, that's what I'm still saying it. Okay, just a few months ago, one of the popular private universities up north in Nigeria had their legal studies shut down.
Yeah, it happens.
You know, the irony of it is that the man in charge of the school before is the man in charge of the shutting down now. Is the Minister of Education. It's very ironical. So it happens, right?
Yes, it does.
But there are people who would have filled their forms and everything to go and study law in that school.
So if you're not, if it's not that these schools are dubious, no, I want to give you 2 examples. So, for people that went to UI, or maybe the years that I went to UI, I think shortly before I got into UI, University of Ibadan's law was literally shut down for a couple of years by the NUC. What they would not do is accept anymore. Like when they put out courses that are going in, they wouldn't even advertise it. So there's nothing you want to apply for.
Okay, so
that's it. Sorry.
Just wait there. You talked about advertising courses. They won't advertise it.
They won't.
Which means schools advertise courses.
Yeah.
Which means that's a verifiable way to know what to study. So
Yes.
if a private school advertises and a child jumps on it, do you blame that child?
Okay.
That's
why I said that these schools too are very dubious.
Carry on.
I know that. I think recently, this was like a couple of years ago, very recently, that I think the Faculty of Architecture just popped up in UI again. It had been shut down for a long time. A lot of people don't even know. So I remember there was a conversation, I think it was on Instagram a few months ago, where it was sad, where someone had said somebody had died, that he was dead, that this person was a first-class student of accounting in University of Ibadan. And I thought I was the only one that saw that, what's it called, yeah? And I opened the comment section, and then the first person goes, that's a lie, there's nothing like accounting in University of Ibadan. The second person writes the same thing. In fact, by the time I checked through a few of the comments, 2 of my friends that I know that well went to UI, everybody was like, no, there's something wrong with this whole story, because that alone, there's even no faculty of, there's nothing like business administration, nothing like that. Do you understand? So that's where I come up to say that these schools are very dubious and they prey on people's intelligence. That is why I had gone back to say that you need to do your own research. Like I said, I will not say that the let me give you the reason why I think I read the JAM brochure when I read it. I think I was not even SS3. I think it was SS1. Then I think my older sister was writing JAM then. And then I just picked it up. In fact, let me give you this. I don't know if I'd said it before, that it was through reading it that I knew that there were certain courses or subjects in secondary school, subjects that it made us take that we did not have to take. Do you understand? And this was just me just wanting to know.
How many people in your class fall into that category of you reading the JAM brochure?
Maybe 5% of us. Is very possible. But what I'm saying...
And if you expand that, how many people of university going age fell into that category?
Like I said, it's a very little one. But it doesn't excuse the fact that, especially when you're going to pay a lot of money, you're going to... I think that we actually owe ourselves the opportunity to be able to do due diligence. People have gone to school for years.
There's an hospital in Plateau State. Plateau. There's an hospital there that recently came into the news as a private hospital that had been harvesting people's organs.
Yeah.
You go in for one procedure and they make sure they take something out of your body that you don't know. They end up selling it and all of that. And it's a very popular hospital. There's another one in Abuja that recently came into the limelight because some journalists did some underground work and found that that's where they take people to, sell their body parts to the donors who are already on ground. They check compatibility and they remove this thing and sell to them. Now, these two hospitals in that neighborhood are popular. They are private hospitals. And the sad part is they might even be certified by government. I think the one in Jos eventually turns out that even one of the doctors was a fake doctor or one funny story like that.
Of course.
What I'm trying to say in essence still goes back to it that the criminals are always one step ahead of everybody. The people who perpetrate crimes and who want to do, they are one step ahead. So do your due diligence. No argument about that. Still doesn't force, it doesn't stop people from falling prey, because when something is well packaged and couched and pushed out, it is bound to hit fertile ground when people buy into this very bogus projects because they don't know. I'm excusing the people who don't know because I don't want to blame the victims, because in all of this they are the victims at the end of the day. So why am I saying this? It's up to the Universities Commission, the Ministry of Education, the state level, federal level, the student union. It's not student unionism should not only be it should not only be about Aluta, and it should also be about
the point is looking out for people, students.
How come the Association of Nigerian Students have members across all unis and they don't even know which uni is fake or not? Let's think about that for a minute also. Let's think about that, because again, they need to ask those questions. So I'm saying everybody, all hands on deck.
Everybody needs
all hands on deck.
Yes,
it's an all hands on deck situation.
I totally agree.
Because this thing is becoming a pandemic.
So
it started from one,
and it's now become a whole full-blown thing. So apparently the NYC had actually put out a statement also, which I think is actually still laughable, talking about these reporters serving twice. So they're saying that according to the Director of Public Affairs of the NYC, said the reporter changed his email address and phone number to be drafted again into the scheme. According to he said, it is not that we don't have checks and balances in place to detect possible systems. When the undercover reporter first put his data, the system rejected him, but because he had served the scheme before. He later changed his email address and phone number, which made the system accept him.
You just showed us your vulnerability.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense.
And the NYSC,
are you serious?
Defense is extremely weak. It's
phone number and email address.
Not stating
that I can open an email address right now.
That you're going to use that. You see, what you need is someone's biometrics. What you need
collect your
is
NIN.
NIN.
Do you understand?
NIN
Where's
and BVN. You know,
and like you had said, the government has already done it for you. There's already an NIN. Isn't that what people should use?
When they're even asking students to bring NIN before they could do their
jam. See, you people, you just had to like just do whatever it is you're doing.
If I was their PR person at this point, I'll be apologizing to the whole country and telling people how the system failed us. That what we built was supposed to protect. There's supposed to be a 4-tier protection, but apparently it failed at the 3rd tier or something. You know, there's a way you can, bring out your push or whatever.
Just keep it.
This is sad. They're NYSC. This is sad. Nah, no try.
Just keep it. Basically, just keep it. Thank you very much. We will move on from that. Anyway, moving on from that, and we're going to move on to another very interesting conversation. Another very porous system, and I think that it's a very nice thing to probably be calling out all these systems one by one. Now, remember we talked about how people had complained yesterday about there was supposed to be a free service from the railway company. I'm guessing it's supposed to end today.
The 4th.
Yes, I think it's supposed to end today, where people are supposed to have free tickets to and fro the rail lines, the rail corridors across states in Nigeria. And of course, people had complained. It's something we had talked about here. Now, there's a video that is now popping up that and a railway officer was arrested today at the Ibutemeta train station, where I think this person was caught red-handed, and there was a video, there was an interview where a particular lady, this started where people started protesting when they went online and they said there were no tickets anymore, and then people would walk up to them and ask them if they wanted tickets for 3,000 naira, which, if I'm correct, is still supposed to be free. And why I'm happy about it is because people had complained about this thing yesterday and 2 days ago, and people there are a lot of complaints about it. But I'm happy about the people that actually took it up upon themselves. Number one, made a report. Number two, actually protested. In fact, a particular lady said after there was a lot of protests, one of them had to run away. And I like the fact that people are getting arrested. We need to be able to speak up. We can't just complain and then everything is hooray. I'm sorry. I don't know about other people, but I will not be at the train station, especially when I'm even supposed to be a media person. I remember we carried this story on and on and on, how the train service is supposed to be free, and then there is no longer any ticket, and then you tell me to come and pay 3,000. Are you joking?
This, is the reason why a lot of ventures that government delves into fails. Now, we want affordable services, we want affordable transportation. And that's why government gets involved at this level. So that government is not trying to make too much money off you. They just want to borrow money from China to fix the rail and pay China back and make some change on the side, as income. Picture if it was being run by a private entity. Say those ones no send. This one that government is charging 3,600. It'll probably be double that because they're after their profit.
Yeah.
They'll tell you that they got their monies at a higher rate. That's one. Two, picture the free train rides for Christmas is not going to happen with private sector, But if the private sector was running Nigerian rail service, these things would be very minimal because those ones will sit on their money. So I always say, why can't you bring that private sector initiative and drive into government-owned businesses? That's one. Because if you do that, some of the things that happened in the past will not happen. There is a reason why the Nigerian Railway Corporation packed up after a few decades.
Funny enough, I think that a lot of people didn't even know that tickets were free.
There's a reason why, I was saying it that some people will not know. I actually raised that angle because it's not everybody that's aware of what's going on. Now, there's a reason why the Nigerian Airways packed up. There's a reason why the National Stadium packed up. There's a reason why the National Theatre packed up. I can go on and on about government-owned ventures with lofty ideas and lofty concepts, but will not go far in a sector where their private counterparts will thrive because of the people that work there.
Yeah.
There was a time in this country that they will tell you that you have a staff ticket to go abroad on the Nigerian Airways. And it's meant for staff and their family members and everything.
But then they sell it.
But they started selling it. And that is profit going down the drain. So eventually the business will pack up.
It will pack up.
Some people will fly for free. Toll fro. It's the same concept. Now, if they even brought it into public transportation, where military people will wear their uniforms and say, and
staff.
And once they say staff, they ride for free. I like that. It's fine. But guess what? They start to abuse it. In one bus, a 14-seater bus, there are three of them one day. And the owner of the bus goes, what? I'm not going to move. How am I going to allow 3 people not pay? And people were now saying, let those guys come down. Eventually, someone offered to pay for one of them, while the third guy grudgingly got down. You see, these are the issues that I'm not saying that we should not do free things and have this populist or just nice things that you want to do for people. But again, when it's business, it is business.
It's business.
And the people who have been put here, most of them are evil. They have accomplices, their friends, their relatives, their business partners that they use as touts. And that's why the passport system did not function for decades until this minister came.
The one that amazes me is the fact that we're very quick to say government did this, government does that, government is bad, government is this. Like you said, the railway system had not worked for years. I'm not sure I grew up with a functional railway system. We saw trains move once in a blue moon, and probably the very old, rickety, and all that. And then in a couple of years, someone comes in and feels that, you know what, this thing has to go back and it has to work.
Not even narrow gauge now, standard gauge, like standard gauge rail.
I've been on that train to and fro once, and I think it's a very laudable thing. But how is it that the government provides a service that we've not had for decades? It starts working, is mass transit, it is cheaper. Let's see, Lagos to Ibadan with the regular, what's it called? Last I checked was 3,600, yeah? I took a cab to Ibadan over Christmas period. It is 5,000 naira. It is more expensive. So if we look at it, it's a cheaper service. It is way more comfortable. You're sitting comfortably. You can go to the convenience. You can sit down and there's tables. You can work. You could do all sorts of things, which you cannot do in a cab. Yeah. And the cab is more expensive. It is what it is. So what I'm saying is like, where it's supposed to be something that we should cherish. But here we are. We as our own Nigerians, we literally come to sabotage the system. And I think it is just very bad. Like, I get it. We're supposed to, they're supposed to put checks and balances in place. And I get it that people would always be people. But can we not be those kind of people? That's where my issue comes. Like, can we not be those kind of people? Why do we always have to be people that have to be treated like goats? Why is it that they have to put things in place? They have to put cameras. They have to put systems in place just because we cannot just be good people. I think it is sad. I think it's such a very, very sad mentality that if you put people by a business, the next available thing you are looking for ways to cut corners. It's such a sad thing to. It is such a very. It's. I don't know if it happens to everyone. It actually saddens me that we can't just use our initiative. I'm like, this is a Nigerian thing. This is taxpayers' money. This is a collective commonwealth, and it won't be a bad idea to actually protect it. But no, we're looking for ways every single time to sabotage the system. It's such a very, very bad thing. I don't know why we're like that, but sadly, it is what it is. I really hope that more people are getting arrested. More of these officials are getting arrested. I feel that this will probably, and I hope this encourages more people to actually speak up. You see some of these things, please speak up. I think these things are either bought online or bought at the counters. Anywhere other than that, anybody offering you anything else is a lie. They are crooks. Please do not entertain such nonsense.
It is time for government to look at how they're going to privatize the railway corporation. Even when they started the new standard gauge rail from Lagos to Ibadan, the Warri Itakpe one and the Abuja Kaduna one, there were videos online of people stopping trains in the middle of nowhere to pick up passengers on the Warri Itakpe rail.
It happened. Right where I saw it. I actually saw it like live.
Guess what? Life went on as normal. Nothing happened. There were no repercussions. There was no reprimand. Nothing.
Yeah.
And how do you think it's going to work? Then they started the Lagos Ibadan one, and you're trying to pay, and they're telling you, you have to go and get cash. So you have to. There are POS people stationed outside. Is that not an avenue for stealing?
Yeah.
When I'm supposed to just pay electronically to the government's account, the government workers are telling us that the government says I should go and buy cash from someone so that I can now buy a ticket. Isn't that some kind of scam? But nobody said nothing about it. Then you get on the train is about to roll.
Then you see some
Suddenly,
people-
the doors open wide again, and some people come in. No tickets, no nothing. And when the person who's coming to check ticket mid-trip comes, skips those people, doesn't say anything to them, comes to you and starts to check your ticket. This happened. I'm not making it up. This happened.
It's such a very, very sad system.
And you say you want a better country, but
Like,
you
that's
don't.
it.
You
We
don't.
Yeah.
You go and jump on a train in England without paying. Just try it. Train. Boss. Enter bus. You know, touch in your Oyster card. You did not touch in before entering. Try it.
Any which way, we will definitely follow all this up because I think that is actually it's very sad. But I'm happy that this is happening. There's a lot more awareness going on about it, and I hope that more people actually whistle blow these criminals. Now, moving on from that quickly, moving on to the EFCC, where the EFCC has now announced that they traced and frozen about 30 billion of the NSIPA cash in private accounts. This is monies that was attributed to the suspended NSIPA chairman or chairperson. This person is supposed to be with the EFCC at the moment, but they say that they have already intercepted about 30 billion naira in private accounts.
I just have I have one thing that I'm putting out to the ICPC, the EFCC, the anti-fraud unit of the Nigerian police, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and all commercial banks in Nigeria. It is boldly written in your banking hall, and we also get to hear it at times. There are certain amounts of money that we would deposit.
Yeah, and then they shut down your account immediately.
Your account is flagged.
Exactly.
And the banks are even compelled to report
to the
that
CBN.
this company brought in an amount that has reached this threshold,
Yeah.
or this individual brought in this money that has reached this threshold. All these people that perpetrate these crimes have bank accounts, and that's where they keep the monies. Do you flag them? Do you report them?
No, you don't.
Do you follow them up? Because how are they tracing 30 billion into private
accounts? And nobody's talking about it. It's such a very, very.
We have
very
laws. It's just that they deliberately don't make them work. We have laws to prevent a lot of things, but it is in the enactment of those laws and in the clamping down on the perpetrators of the crimes that these laws have caught up with. But we sit down here.
It's very, very sad. Like, I think I like the angle that you're talking about as how these monies were even easily moved. And for someone that had just spent just a couple of months on the job, what exactly? I maybe I get it. I know that she had been working. I think since 2017 or 2019, she had been working in that ministry. So you would expect that for her to now head this part, you would think that okay, it will make sense and she will deliver on the job. Now let's now go back.
That's what they were doing before.
Exactly. That's it. Let's go back to when she first started working there. Because I think that that ministry, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, I'm guessing with a lot of things that we see happen, they seem to have a lot of money passed through them. So it's probably easy, and it's about giving less privilege. So I will guess that it's easier to just tell that you have given people money and all that. But it's just sad. It's still sad how people feel that you get into a position and the next thing is to circumvent the system is just to be dubious and thieves. Basically, that's the only explanation to it. Now, still talking about the EFCC, the news broke this morning that the former minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Umar Farouk, had shunned the EFCC invitation over a 37 billion naira fraud. Now, the EFCC has now come out to debunk that statement and that she did not shun the invitation, and saying that she actually sent a message that she was ill, that there were a lot of health issues that she was dealing with, and they had to postpone it. But they are always ill. They are always sick.
You know they say before.
Why is it that it's when money is
person
involved,
they
they are suddenly
allege
sick?
thief money.
You've been minister for years. You did not fall sick.
Nah.
Suddenly, you are falling sick now. EFCC, be careful.
In fact, is that sickness?
Don't let somebody use sickness to carry themselves out of
Is
the
that
country.
sickness that you would use to know that there's no smoke without fire? Say somebody's guilty.
They are always falling sick. They are always falling
Oh
sick.
man.
Sickness is.
Now wow.
I don't know, Sha. Let me show.
It's all good.
It's not all good though. It's not all good, but we'll shall move on. Anyway, just an announcement. The IPMAN, I think independent petroleum marketers of Nigeria, has announced categorically that there is no plan to increase fuel price, and people should stop panic buying.
Yeah, because again, panic buying, especially during the Hamilton, is a very dangerous venture.
Yeah, very, very dangerous
You know
one.
how highly combustible petrol is. So please stay safe out there, people. Don't go buying all sorts of fuel in the aim of not wanting to get caught up in the scarcity that you think is coming. That would most likely not
come.
not
Yeah,
come.
exactly. Now, so we're still talking about a lot of things, and a few things that has been trending for the past 2-3 days. I feel that it's good to just get some of these things out. One of the things that have been trending is Nigeria's 32 billion, is it naira or dollar? 32 billion naira church.
Why are you calling it
edifice.
Nigeria's church? It is
In
Akwa Ibom's church.
You didn't let me finish the statement. In Akwa Ibom.
Yeah, but it still means that it's Nigeria that is building it
Why
in
are
Akwa
you now
Ibom.
angry?
No, because Nigeria as constituted would not be that stupid. You know, we already have an ecumenical center in Abuja, which the government did not even build. You know, and there's a national mosque which is provided by law, by government, an act of government. After that one, any church outside anywhere, consign us. But this is 2024. You have only spent 7 months as a governor, and your number one priority is to build a church, one of the biggest churches. And you really think that's what we need? That's what your people need?
I've never been to Akwa Ibom State, but I don't think Akwa Ibom State is all that wonderful. What I mean is that not saying that is, but I do not think that, because I'm sure that if the infrastructural development in Akwa Ibom is so wonderful, we would have heard people talk about it.
In Akwa Ibom, that Dolupo doesn't know, I know a little bit. In that same Akwa Ibom, they have the Ibom Resort, which is thriving. It's thriving. They have Ibom Air, arguably the only state-owned airline that is thriving.
Okay, still, it's not this governor that did all that.
That's what I'm saying. You have a state that other governors have built infrastructure. World-class
32 billion.
world-class stadiums.
It's a lot of money.
World-class stadiums have been
It's
built
a
in
lot
that
of
place.
money.
Super Eagles want to play. That's where they are going. But now church, now in Bros won't come build.
32 billion naira church.
How much
I think
employment
that-
are you going to generate? Because Ibom Air is employing people.
Yeah, on a steady
The stadium attracts business.
business. It does.
The
Yes, it
hotels
does.
are always, filled to the brim whenever
Why
there's a
is
game
why
there.
is it's not even.
It helps.
let's
It helps
even,
tourism.
let's even look at it from the
Are
angle.
we going to do
What
religious
is-
tourism?
When did we
Church?
become? When did a state? What's their business with religion? I get it. I know that we'll say we're a secular state, which we're not. Let's call a spade a spade. But my issue is, what's the justification for the state building such?
There's no justification,
Like-
but it's the same thing that we always do. We always, pander to this and meander around it and move on. Because it's the same way you will see they are doing a 10,000 choir Christmas celebration, and it's the same state and all of that. So we always use
So what happens?
we always use
so
religion.
what happens to the Muslims in Akwa Ibom State? When are you going to build their own
Well, they will tell you that
Muslim edifice?
They'll tell you that they probably don't have a Muslim community that
They
needs
don't.
one. They will
They
tell
don't.
you. They will tell you, and I think they don't. I don't even want to. Yeah, I know we want to balance things, but I think they don't. They don't really have that many Muslims in the state.
That
but-
doesn't matter, but I'm not sure that they won't have
It does
Muslims at
matter
all.
because if you build a mosque and they are not going to use it, it's even worse.
So how many people
It's
are going to
even
use
worse.
this one?
The church in
How many
Nigeria.
churches?
In Nigeria.
You keep it. You
in
wait,
Ni- are you playing?
wait. Keep in mind
Also,
that there are denominations, and
You don't
they-
want that.
so which denomination
in-
is this church?
You really don't get. You don't.
Is this supposed to be an ecumenical center?
It doesn't matter. It's Nigerian church. It doesn't matter.
I don't think it
There-
makes any sense.
Down the road here, there's an entire city that is a church,
I don't.
and you think it's only their members that go there.
I don't think this
When
makes
when
any
they're
sense.
doing a Holy Ghost service of that particular church, you
That's-
think it's only their members.
It's
It's
private.
the same thing that it's the same thing that will happen here.
But
It's the same thing that
fact
will
that
happen.
no, where I have a problem with is the fact that the government feels that this is the kind of thing
That's
that
the same
you
problem that
need
I have.
to
But I am not under.
invest your
I'm
money.
not under the impression that if they build a church in this country, it won't thrive. In this country,
Sadly, it's
build
not,
it anywhere.
sadly, it's not even going to add anything.
Church.
What
It won't hard.
economy?
It won't hard. But that's why we're saying it. That are you going to invest? Are you going to invest? Look, recently the one of the states in the South had built what they call the largest syringe manufacturing
Yeah.
industry, and it's packed up now.
So according to them, they said that they are restructuring.
Yeah, right. They are restructuring. A business that is thriving, that is barely 6 years old, would not need restructuring. You know,
Anyway.
so I'm also questioning the investments. Like, you must be sure before you dabble
Before you
into
dabble
it.
into
So
it.
why are you going to build a 32 billion naira church? Why? For what?
Doesn't even make any sense. There's no part of it that makes sense. Talking about investments, the United States has now filed fraud charges against a Nigerian, a person that I think at a point he wanted to buy
Sheffield.
Sheffield United. It was said that he allegedly stole at least $16 million from Tingo Group.
Yeah. That's arguably his own business.
Yeah, so this is coming after the SEC, I think that is in Nigeria, had filed civil charges accusing him of orchestrating a staggering fraud.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Tingo Foods and, inflating their numbers.
And how they,
Claiming they
at a
have
point,
X
he
number
had
of
only
farmers.
5,000 and something naira in his account. And he said,
Yeah, they have X number of farmers and they don't have them. They have silos somewhere, but they don't exist. There's a lot of allegations against Dozie Umuobosi. Strangely, he has the Dozie Umuobosi Foundation that's doing a lot of great things. Creating awareness about prostate cancer, breast cancer.
so where did all that money come from?
Foundation. Maybe
Okay, it's
people-
foundation, Shab. So people just...
There was I don't know if it's Malawi or one of these African countries that were reeling from the effects of an hurricane recently. They went there to donate, and they're doing a lot of humanitarian services. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, at times, man, what's going on in the minds of these people? Because it's looking like man has committed fraud. That's what they are alleging that he has done. And then again, you look at is it the Robin Hood, concept, And we all know what Robin Hood did. At least the story of Robin Hood, where they said he took from the rich and gave to
Funny
the
enough,
poor.
I don't know whoever
But
said
in
that
this-
thing made any sense.
but in
Even the Robin Hood thing. Self.
But a thief is a thief.
That you get, like, let's call it spade. I don't know how we glorified Robin Hood into something wonderful. But anyway, we definitely will talk more about this. I think for me it's sad that Nigerians, because this person was even very, very prominent, especially the pictures of him with a presidential candidate during the before the elections happened.
Oh yeah,
endorsing-
he had an event in London, like a
Yeah, endorsing Peter Obi and all. It's a smear on Peter Obi and the Nigerian government generally. How?
No, Peter Obi will tell you that it was just an
No,
acquaintance.
I get it, but the fact that you can't say you don't know this person.
He might not know his business.
I get your point. It's possible, but you can't say you don't know
And
him.
he's still alleged anyway.
You can't say you don't know him, and I think that even putting, because now, of course, when news comes out, you now hear Nigerian. You suddenly remember that he's Nigerian. The whole world suddenly remembers he's Nigerian when they're not doing something.
That's how
wonderful.
some of the international news platforms carry.
But
the
if
story.
there was called, you hear British American, what's it called? Nigerian American, British Nigerian. They're always attaching themselves if it's correct something. But once it's not, what's it called? Kia is fully Nigerian, no, solely fully Nigerian. I think that it's something that is bad. We need to put our country in a good light. Please, thank you very much. Now, moving on from that, moving into another thing that has been trending. So we were all here when the governor 2 days ago arrested a soldier because he was driving against traffic, and or in Nigerian parlance, one way. And the governor was livid when he said he's a soldier, and the governor said, more reason why I'm going to arrest you, and all that. And there's been a lot of skits around that. And a lot of people have gone for and against. In fact, I saw someone write a whole thread on how the governor is not allowed to arrest, whatever. And I think, personally, I think it's gibberish. Personally. But then, there is now a video where a soldier went off about how there is not allowed, the governor does not have the powers to arrest a fellow soldier, that why would the DSS be treating a soldier that way, and all that, and all that, and all that. And I'm like, I think that a lot of people probably don't know how the system works. Or would I say that a lot of people feel that the uniforms they have make them invincible?
Yeah, there's actually that perception. You can
Because
hear it in that soldier's video.
why in the world do you think that a soldier is above the law?
Yeah, it's what they do. It's part of their training. Actually, it's an unwritten law. Especially in the Nigerian army, they have this thing that they are, the charge that they are given. They don't back down, don't step down for anybody. It's their thing. And because they have their own police, like the guy was saying in the video, that it was only a military police person or a higher ranking officer that he would listen to, not the governor. And this is where he has missed it, because he's a young man. He doesn't even have peeps yet. I don't think he has risen in the career, and he's already making such a video. In his fatigue.
You are gone, no.
So I'm sure that he's going to hear from the higher authorities. But we just made a recent video. We just posted it before we came to the bar, where we've been able to do some kind of research to show that it happened in 2012 with the former governor of Lagos, Fashola, and there were two soldiers that he arrested. One was a sergeant, one was a colonel. The colonel, there's a famous picture of the colonel saluting him, when he knew he had committed this traffic offense. And the next day, the Nigerian army released a press statement. The next day, apologizing and saying there were going to be disciplinary actions, and that, of course, no soldier should break any law. It's written there. So now, if your top echelon are saying that, you shouldn't be saying what you're saying. I think it was 2019 or so. Akiwumi Ambode coming from the airport, another soldier was driving against traffic, and the same thing happened. Of course, he had that car confiscated immediately, and of course, he said he was going to prosecute the guy. And of course, until this happened 2 days ago in Lagos, there was one recurring decimal in all of these incidents in Lagos. It always happens around where the military have their strength. The one that happened with Governor Sowolu happened by the Ojo military cantonment. The one that happened with Ambode happened by the Air Force base. Okay. The one that happened with Mr. Fashola when he was governor happened close to the officers' mess.
So they just feel that they're above the law. So
there's this thing that they have when it comes to their own area, and it's time that they understood that there are laws.
Yeah, I
that
think it's
supersede-
also
that
what they're
supersede
being
any
taught.
other thing.
They actually also need to look into it. The Nigerian Army also. And quickly before we go, the Nigerian Army has actually now made a statement regarding a video that was made yesterday about how people that were not from Lagos State were being recruited through the Lagos State origin into the Nigerian Army. They have now said that they're going to probe these candidates claiming Lagos origin in the recruitment drive.
Yeah, so the video that was made by a woman who is the representative of the state government on the screening board. And that's why she was allowed to make that video by the army, because if she had walked in and tried to make that video, it would be a different story. So the army is making people understand that this video did not emerge without their knowledge, and
Yeah.
they work hand in hand with the state. But I still have my doubts about it, because I feel that it looks like a racket that's been going on for a while.
For years.
And
yeah.
that's the way it sounds, with the way those guys presented themselves. All were from Kaduna, all were,
It looked
people
like
that
they
had
were just
military
shipped in and
uncles and aunties.
so since maybe Kaduna slot was finished,
and this
it's
is just the army. If you go and check other things, check the police,
oh yeah,
check, and it's not just Lagos. You will find that a couple of other states too, who have not been filling up their slots, have had it taken by people from areas where they have support within the military.
Yep. So before we go, finally, a Nigerian student in the person of Chancellor Ahagotu has now emerged new world record holder for the longest painting marathon after painting for 100 consecutive hours.
The resilience of these people should be celebrated. The creativity that they have in thinking up these records, and and the drive. So I
It's
must
a lot.
appreciate what Chancellor Ahagotu has done. It's a big deal, and
It is.
let's hope that it quickly gets ratified by the Guinness Book of. We'll be inundated now with record attempts from Nigeria. But you said finally. But before we go, I don't know if you want to say anything about the Guinness Book of Record being set by Chancellor. I want to talk about one of the stories that you picked out, which is the fact that King Sunny Ade, Fela Kuti, and Burna Boy, have made it to the Rolling Stones top list of albums and everything.
Yeah, it's
of
beautiful.
all time.
It's beautiful. Any which way, as we are going, as they say that, I think 2024's what's it called? There's no grief for anybody. I don't know if you see the video where it is official. Let me say it's official, but if you have Wi-Fi, and you are only entitled to the Wi-Fi inside your house, the one sipping outside is not your own. It's public consumption. Just wanted to put it out there. Someone made a whole talked about it, and I think I agree with the man. Anyways, way
those two must be doing. That's the second video that the man and his neighbor has made. You never see the guy that is on the inside. You only see the old man that's talking through the doorbell camera and everything. I have a feeling that it's a skit, because this is the second time something like that is happening, but it's extremely hilarious.
It's hilarious. Anyway, on that note, that is all we have to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We will be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time. It is the first TGIF edition of the Boombar, and we'll be here, of course, to give you everything about music, sports, entertainment, right here on boomradio.com. Peace.